I wondered how Dr. Casperson approaches treatment of clitoral atrophy and or loss of sexual sensation.
Yes. I mean, this brings up the point, right? Because so
Yeah.
many women are like, I don't want to take estrogen cream. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't wear a seatbelt in a car or sunscreen in Texas, like
Yeah.
shit happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
No,
so
that's so great to kind of point it out
if
like
you
that.
don't floss, things happen,
Yeah.
right? And so it's really like, we know this is a fact. Your hormones go incredibly low and things happen. So why wait for the clitoral atrophy to happen? Why wait for your labia to disappear? Why wait for sex to become painful? Because
Right.
then you have to reverse all of that if you want to. Right. And so I bring up that in this question of like, in my perfect world, you're not going to wait for your clitoris to atrophy before you're like, how do we figure out clitoral atrophy? You know,
Right.
well, we're going to keep the skin healthy and hopefully not have to like undo years of low hormones. So, a couple of options for clitoral atrophy. Number one, I love the estrogen cream because you can put the estrogen cream not only in the vagina, but also on the labia minora. That 6 o'clock spot, for people who can see the webinar, but that 6 o'clock spot on the entrance to the vagina gets very thinned and painful. That's where a lot of pain with penetration comes from. I love the cream because you can actually rub it in like skincare and you can get the cream around the clitoris. And just target that. You might need a higher dose than twice a week. And if estrogen alone doesn't help, then we also can add testosterone to that locally. And this is a good time to say there's a difference between systemic hormones, meaning hormones that you're using to go into your whole body, and local or vaginal hormones, which is a much lower dose targeted to those tissues. You are allowed to be on both systemic and local at the same time. But I think it can be confusing to people when they're new to this conversation about like the different doses and routes. We tend to do local treatment first for clitoral atrophy and lack of sensation, but we do know that systemically, so higher dose to mean to go into your whole body, both estrogen and testosterone can help with sexual function at a systemic dose as well.
Thank you for that, Dr. Casperson. And just to hover here for another second, for those who are new to this conversation, when you say systemic dose, you were talking about oral, patch, what else versus local?
Patch, cream, gel, oral, injections, pellets, anything that's at a dose high enough where you can actually measure your blood levels as going up because you use the product. When you use local or vaginal, local and vaginal are used interchangeably. I use local a lot because Instagram doesn't like body part words,
No, it doesn't.
which is awful and another
It
problem.
is awful. I know I get shadow banned all the time because
Yeah.
I hashtag vaginal estrogen or
Yeah.
whatever.
So when we say local, we mean pelvic or vaginal.
And that is cream, ring,
Tab.
tab.
Yep.
Okay.